patterns. Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to start off with how to create corduroy texture. Okay, so I'm assuming that you're all familiar with Adobe Photoshop. I know that some of you don't have the software, but at least I'm hoping that you are very familiar. Even if you're not very familiar, if you just follow the steps that I'm teaching you, you'll be able to create these textures. Okay, so I'll begin with corduroy texture. Okay, so you have to open the Adobe Photoshop software. Okay, please make a note of it. Okay, stage by stage procedure of making the corduroy texture. Okay, from the file menu, you have to click on new. Okay, new command. And in this dialog box, you can label this file as fur texture. Okay, and in the width of canvas you have to type 300. Okay, and the units on the right side you have to change it to pixels. Okay, for width and height the unit has to be in pixels. Okay, and width and height will be 300 by 300. And resolution you can keep 150. Okay, 150 pixels per inch. This gives a good clarity image. Okay, and in color mode over here you have to select CMYK color option. Okay, so this is the color mode you are selecting because you're going to print your assignments on paper. Okay, so for paper, to print on paper, for print media, the color mode is CMYK. Okay, so if you're doing it for web designing, the color mode is RGB. Okay, is that clear? Now in the background contents, either you can select the option transparent or you can select the option as white. Okay, and then you click on OK. Okay, now in stage 2, you can see that the canvas is ready. Okay, this is my canvas. Okay, and at the bottom of toolbox. Okay, so this is a toolbox. At the bottom of toolbox, you will see two colors. Okay, the color that you see in the background is the color that you choose for background color. Okay, and on top you see one color, right? That is the foreground color. Okay, so if you want to paint with brush or you want to fill with paint bucket with any color of your choice, then you have to firstly set this foreground color. Okay, so on this foreground color, left click 2 times. Okay, double click on this. It will open the colored picker dialog box. This one. Okay, this is the color picker dialog box. In this, you have to choose a color that is suitable for a corduroy fabric texture. Okay, so usually you'll find corduroy fabrics in neutrals, right? Neutrals or dark shades like dark brown and burgundy, olive green, khaki color, gray, beige, biscuit color. Okay, so you select the color whichever you prefer. Okay, I've selected dark burgundy over here. Okay, now after that, in the toolbox, okay, this is a toolbox. You have to open paint bucket tool. Okay, see, sometimes on some tools you can see that in the corner of this tool, on the right side at the bottom, you'll see a small triangle. Okay, so if you see a small triangle, that means that particular tool has many more tools under that. If you click on that, it's like a flyout. Okay, so under the tool there will be many more tools. So even the paint bucket tool is a flyout. Okay, under paint bucket you will find 2 tools. One is the gradient tool, the other one is the paint bucket tool. Okay, and whichever tool you have selected, that will be visible on top in the toolbox. Okay, sometimes I've seen the students select some tool maybe they want to work with gradient tool, but they have selected paint bucket tool, and they think that, ma'am, gradient tool is not seen, ma'am, it's not there. It's not like that. It is still there in the flyout, okay? It's just that the last selected tool will be appearing on top in the toolbox. Okay, so here if you see gradient tool, you just click it open, okay? It's a flyout. You'll definitely find paint bucket tool under this. So select paint bucket tool, and in the canvas, you drop this color using paint bucket tool, okay, here. So I've filled this canvas. Okay, canvas is nothing but the new file that I created. I filled it with burgundy color. Okay, now how will you create the ribbed texture on the surface of this canvas? The corduroy fabric has a ribbed effect, right? It's somewhat slightly hairy and it has vertical ribbing, striations, some lines on it, right? So for that, you have to firstly create a pattern, okay, to get the ribbed effect. So you have to create a new file, draw a new design only for this ribbing. So go to File menu. Again, you have to select New. Now, in this dialog box, you can select the background contents as transparent. Okay, so usually in most of the versions of Photoshop, this transparent option is there. Okay, in some version of Photoshop, you may not find this transparent option. Only in that case, you have to select white. Okay, otherwise it is mandatory that you have to select transparent option only. Okay, resolution, you keep it to 150, and color mode, you change it to CMYK. Okay, don't keep it RGB. And then width and height, you have to keep 20. It's a very small canvas, okay, of just 20 pixels, 20 by 20 pixels. Okay, so the canvas looks like this. It's very tiny. Okay, now here in the foreground color, okay, you have to double click on it and open this dialog box, and then you have to change this color to black. Okay, from burgundy, you change the foreground color to black. Okay, so after doing that, you have to zoom and make your screen little bigger. Why? Because the canvas is really small. It's just 20 pixels in size. Okay, so how do you make the screen bigger? Either you can use the zoom tool here. Okay, zoom and pan tool, you'll find it in the toolbox. Okay, here, over here at the bottom, you can see there is the pan tool and the zoom tool here. Either you can use that, or you can press Control, CTRL in the keyboard, Control and the plus symbol in the keyboard. Okay, to make the screen big, you have to press Control and plus together. If you want to make the screen smaller, you have to press Control and minus. Okay, this is a shortcut key. Okay, now after this, after you made the screen bigger, in the toolbox, okay, you have to open this marquee tool. Okay, so again it's a flyout. Okay, in this marquee tool, you will see rectangular marquee tool, elliptical marquee tool, single row marquee tool, and single column marquee tool. You have to select this first option, rectangular marquee tool, and in the canvas, you have to drag and select only half of this canvas. Okay, this is the canvas. I have not made the selection for the entire canvas. It's only 50% I've selected. If you notice here, only this much I've selected. Okay, so after selecting it with the rectangular marquee tool, you have to take paint bucket tool and fill this selection with black color. Okay, so after filling it with black color, okay, still a portion of the canvas is selected with the mark it tool, right? So to deselect it, you have to right click inside the selection, okay, and select deselect. Okay, so how do you deselect a marquee tool? Right click inside the selection and press deselect. Okay, otherwise you just have to press CTRL and D together, Control and D together. Okay, this is the shortcut key. Okay, now after you have created this pattern, the next stage is to save this pattern that you have created in the list of existing patterns in the Photoshop software, right? So what are you supposed to do? You have to click on edit menu. Okay, go to edit menu, and under this you have to select this command, okay, define pattern. Select that option and it will open this dialog box, pattern name. Okay, in this you give it some appropriate name. Okay, so I have labeled it as corduroy stripe. Okay, and click on OK. So the moment you do that, the pattern will get added to the list of available patterns in Photoshop software. Okay, now come back to your main file, okay, which has this burgundy color filled inside it, right? You select that file, open that file. Okay, sometimes when you're working in a new file, the files that you created initially will get minimized, okay, the canvases that you created initially. So you have to look for it and you have to open it, maximize it, and now you have to go to layer menu. Okay, on top you'll see this layer menu. Okay, open layer menu, and in this you select new and add a new layer. Okay, so what happens on this canvas that you have created, a new layer will get added. Okay, and the software will prompt you to give a name to this layer. Okay, so Photoshop is all about layers, right? So you give a proper name to this new layer. You can label it as stripe, okay, because this is a layer in which you will add the stripe pattern. After this, you click on OK. Okay, now the next step is you have to now fill this canvas with the stripe pattern that you have created, right? Okay, so how do you fill the canvas in Photoshop? It's using paint bucket, right? So again, you have to keep this paint bucket tool selected. Okay, just click on it, keep it selected. But now in the options bar, you have to make the changes in the options. Okay, this is the options bar. Okay, so you'll find it just below the menu bar. Here, in the drop down list, you'll find two options. Either you can fill the canvas with the foreground color, okay, or you can fill the canvas with pattern. Okay, in this you have to keep pattern selected. Okay, now after this, after selecting pattern, next to it you'll see one more drop down list. Okay, if you click on that, it will show you the list of patterns that are available. Okay, okay, so I've selected pattern here and I've opened this drop down list which has a list of patterns. Okay, and the pattern that I created is over here. Okay, the corduroy stripe pattern. What is the size? 20 pixel. Okay, you have to select this and then you have to drop it on the canvas. Okay, now on the canvas there are two layers, right? The first one is the background layer, which has the burgundy color filled inside it, and the second layer is called as stripe, which has the stripe pattern filled inside it. Okay, is that clear? Okay, now what you have to do, you have to do some settings. Okay, edit this stripe pattern that you have added in the new layer. Okay, now in the Photoshop software, you'll find lot of panes on the right side. Okay, like there will be history pane and layer pane and many other panes. Okay, you have to select the layer pane. You'll find it on the left side of the Photoshop software. Sorry, the right side. Okay, on the left side of the Photoshop software, you'll find the toolbox. On the right side of the Photoshop software, you'll find the layer pane. Okay, so in the layer pane, you have to select, this is a layer pane. Okay, so under this, you have to select soft light. Okay, there are many options, like by default, normal will be selected. There are many options like lighten, dissolve, darken, linear light. Okay, but you have to select soft light here. Okay, so in the layer pane, you select soft light. Okay, keeping this stripe layer selected. Okay, so after you have made this settings, in the layer pane, you will find one option called as opacity. Okay, where you can make your layers opaque or transparent. Okay, now in opacity, you have to change it to 93%. By default, it will be 100%, but you have to change it to 93%. So what are the changes that you have made to this stripe layer? You changed it to soft light. Okay, opacity, you made it to 93%. Okay, after you do that, you have to combine these two layers. Okay, layer 1, which is the background layer, and layer 2, which you have labeled it as stripe. Okay, so to do that, you have to go to layer menu. Okay, and under this, you will see one option, merge down. Okay, so select this merge down command and it will combine both the layers and it will treat it as one layer. Now in the layer pane, you will not see two layers. Okay, you will see only one layer. Okay, now you have to add some settings to this canvas so that it looks like a corduroy texture. Okay, so mostly when you're working on textures, you'll be working with the layer pane, the filter menu, the layer menu, and the options bar mostly. Okay, filter menu is really important. If you become very thorough with filter menu, if you keep exploring it, then you'll become better and better in Photoshop textures. Okay, so now the next step is to open the filter menu. Okay, in this you have to select noise. Okay, and click on add noise. Okay, now it will open this add noise dialog box. Okay, you keep this preview checked and you have to keep amount at least 25 to 30%. Okay, the amount of noise you want to add, you can keep it to 25 to 30%, and you have to keep this monochromatic checked. Otherwise, the speckles that you see on this, it will be in multiple colors. You don't want it in multiple colors. So that's why you have to keep this monochromatic checked. Okay, so the moment you do that, over here in the canvas, because of the second layer, there are light and dark lines, right? So when you're painting a corduroy texture, how do you do it? If you want a raised effect, you give a shadow effect, right? The shadows which look like stripes. We are following the same concept in Photoshop, okay? So there has to be white and dark lines. That's how you get both the shadow effect and the sheen effect. And in distribution, you have to keep uniform checked in add noise dialog. Okay, so what are the settings you do? Amount of noise you want to add, you keep it between 25 to 30%. Distribution, you keep it uniform, and you keep this monochromatic check. Okay. After that, you click on OK. Now already it looks like a ribbed texture, right? So it has dark and light lines, but still it doesn't have that hairy appearance, right? So how do you do that? And speckles, you can see that it's somewhat white and maroon now. It's in two colors. So the white portions will appear shiny now. Okay, so what you're supposed to do to give it a hairy appearance, you have to now go to filter menu again. Okay, and in blur, you have to select motion blur. It will open this motion blur dialog box. Okay, in this, you have to keep angle just 3, okay, 3 degrees you can keep. Okay, so the motion blur will give a feeling of movement. Okay, that's how you give the raised hairy appearance on it. So angle you keep 3 degrees, and distance. Okay, the distance determines how long is your hairy appearance. You can have short hairs or long hairs. Okay, so distance, because it's not a fur texture, right? It's a corduroy, so you need not make it long and hairy. So distance, you keep it just 3 and click on OK. Okay, so finally you'll get this appearance. Okay, so your corduroy texture is ready now. You have to now go to File menu and select Save As, and you can select it in 3-4 formats. You can you can save it in 3-4 formats. You can save it in PDF format, that is the default file format of Adobe Photoshop software. If you save it in PDF format, you can edit it later if you want. Save it in PDF format, save it in TIFF, okay, TIFF, .TIFF, and you can also save it in .bmp, that is bitmap format. Okay, so you can save it in 3 file formats to be on safer side. Okay, so I hope the corduroy texture is clear to you. Okay, and anyway, I'm going to send this reference material to you. Okay, but make your own points. Okay, note down in a book according to your understanding. Okay, now I will show you how to make a denim texture, denim fabric texture. Okay, for denim fabric also you have to take a canvas size of about 300 by 300 pixels. So go to File, create a new file with 300 by 300 pixels, height and width, and color mode has to be CMYK. Background, you can keep it transparent, okay, and resolution, okay, resolution is the clarity of your image. Don't keep it less than 100, okay, otherwise your illustrations will not look good if you use these textures in your illustrations. Okay, keep it at least 150, create a new file. Okay, now you have to double click on this foreground color, and you have to select a blue which is nearest to indigo color. Okay, indigo is the color of the denim fabric, right? So you have to take the right denim blue color. Okay, so you can note down this hexadecimal value here. Okay, you can directly enter this value. Open color picker dialog box and enter this value 2060B0. Okay, you will get the right blue color. Click on OK. After this, now just like how you did a ribbed effect on corduroy, Even on denim, it has a ribbing, right? The denim fabric has a ribbing, but the ribbing is diagonal. It's not in vertical direction. Okay, so you can use the same corduroy stripe pattern even for the denim fabric texture. Okay, so even for this, on the canvas that you have created, you have to add a new layer. Okay, so go to layer menu, and from new, you add new layer. Okay, after this, you have to label this new layer as rib or something, or diagonal rib. Okay, click on OK. Okay, now what you're supposed to do, select paint bucket tool, and in the options bar, in the drop down list, you have to select pattern instead of foreground. Okay, and then you have to select the corduroy pattern that you have created. Okay, if you want, you can create another stripe pattern, like how you did for corduroy texture. You created a corduroy stripe pattern, right? You can create another pattern and you can simply call it denim rib or something, and instead of black color, it was 50% transparent and 50% black, right? The 20 pixel size file. You can take, instead of jet black, the hexadecimal code for jet black is 6 times 0. Okay, instead of taking jet black, you can take a dark blue color. Okay, so but if you don't want to take so many efforts, then you can simply take the corduroy texture that you have created, and then you can drop it here. Okay, and if for the denim pattern, your pattern size can also be small. Instead of 20 by 20 pixel, you can make it in 10 by 10 pixel. Okay, only by trial and error you'll get the textures right. Okay, so now here I have filled it with stripes. Okay, but they are thinner stripes than the corduroy stripes. If you want, you can create a thin stripe pattern like this. Okay, now you have to press Control and T in the keyboard. Okay, this is for transforming the layer. Transforming the layer means you can make it big or small, and you can rotate or skew it. Okay, the moment you keep the second layer selected and press on Control and T, the second layer will get selected. Okay, and you'll see some nodes appearing all around it, this squarish nodes. Okay, now keep your mouse pointer in the corner, somewhere in the corner. Okay, now suddenly you can see that your mouse pointer, it's showing the cursor has become like a round arrow. Okay, with 2 arrowheads. Okay, now you can rotate it. So keep it in the corner and then you rotate the canvas. I am rotating like this. Rotating, and I've made the canvas diagonal. Okay, but the canvas is not covering the background layer completely, right? So you have to use this transform option and keep your cursor on these nodes. Okay, and stretch it and totally cover this first layer, which has the background blue color, with the stripe pattern. Okay, so after rotating, you can press enter. Okay, without pressing enter, the transform feature will still be enabled. Okay, so after you transform it, you have to press enter. Okay. Sometimes I've seen that people forget to press enter and they are not able to use any of the panes, or they are not able to use the menus, and they think Photoshop is not working. Okay, now you have to go to layer menu again. Okay, and you have to select flatten image. Flatten image means just like merge down. Okay, it will merge both the layers. Okay, so after you flatten the image, you have to go to filter menu. Okay, and you have to select pixelate. Okay, pixelate works somewhat like add noise. In Corduroy, I taught you how to use add noise, right? So it's somewhat like that. So select pixelate, and in pixelate, you have to select mezzotint. Okay, keep this option selected, mezzotint. Okay, it will open the mezzotint dialog box. Okay, in this, under type, okay, in the drop down list, you have to select short lines. Okay, if you take any other option, it will not work. In type, remember to select short lines. Okay, and click on OK. Okay, so the moment you add mezzotint, it looks like this. The canvas now looks like this. Okay, now you have to give it a slightly raised appearance, right? So for raised appearance, again, you have to use the blur command. Okay, so go to filter menu again. Okay, in blur, you have to select motion blur. Okay, it will open the motion blur dialog. Okay, in this angle, you can set it to 70 degrees. Okay, and distance, you can keep it to 4. Click on OK. Okay, now your denim fabric texture is ready. You have to save it in PDF format. Okay, save it second time in TIFF format, .piff, and save it for the third time in .bmp format. Okay, so what you're supposed to do, on your desktop, you create a new folder, okay, and label it as Photoshop textures or fabric textures. Give it a proper name and save all your works in this folder. Okay, load this folder. Once you are done with the assignment, you have to load this folder in Google Drive and share it with the faculty. Okay, so the denim texture is clear, I hope. It's similar to corduroy texture, right? Okay, now next I will show you how to create a fur texture. So if you learn to create 3 or 4 textures, then you can keep experimenting and learn on your own how to create many other fabric textures. Okay, even the print designs that you create in Illustrator, that looks very flat, right? It doesn't look like a fabric. Okay, so if you want to make it look like a fabric, like a typical napped fabric or like a fleece fabric, then the designs that you create in Illustrator, you save it in JPEG or BMP format and then try to add some effects in Photoshop. Then you will get a real fabric-like texture. Okay. Now to create fur texture, you have to create a new file. File size is 300 by 300 pixels. Resolution you have to keep somewhere between 150 to 300. Color mode you keep it to CMYK. Okay. And background contents, either you can keep it transparent or white. Okay. See, in some versions of Photoshop, the option transparent will not be there. Okay. So in that case, if you create any patterns like the corduroy stripe pattern, that I taught you in corduroy texture, okay, the small 20 pixel by 20 pixel pattern. In that, the pattern will be 50% white and 50% black, right? So all you have to do is, once you add this pattern, okay, fill this canvas with this pattern, all the white portions you can select with magic wand tool, okay. Select one white stripe with magic wand tool and keep the shift key pressed, okay, and keep selecting all the white lines, okay. So this way all the white stripes will get selected, okay. After you have selected all the white stripe, you press delete in the keyboard, then the white color will disappear, okay. This is only in case you don't have the transparent option in your version of Photoshop, okay. So once you create the new file, now let's come back to fur texture. Once you create the new file, you have to change the foreground color to some color which looks like fur, right? So in this foreground color, here at the bottom, double click on that and open the color picker dialog, and you can select some brownish color which looks like fur. Okay, so if you want, you can note down this hexadecimal value directly. You can enter this value. It is 6, B, 4, 9, 1, and 8. Okay, and then click on OK. Okay, so after that, you have to take paint bucket and just be careful over here. Okay, you have to select the back foreground color. Otherwise, since you have been working with denim texture and corduroy texture, so by default, the pattern option will be selected, and instead of the color, the pattern, the stripe pattern will get filled here. Okay, so if something is not working properly in Photoshop, then you know that somebody has meddled with this options bar. Okay, check all the options in options bar, then set it right before you start any work. Okay, now you fill the canvas with this brown color. Okay, now the corduroy, the fur has some spots, right? So imagine it's some leopard print or cheetah print that you want to do. It has some spots, right? So to draw the spots, you have to create a new layer. You'll paint the spots in a new layer. Okay, so add a second layer onto this canvas. Okay, go to layer menu. In new layer, you select layer. Okay, and you can give it a proper name. The new layer, you label it as spots and click on OK. Now, in this foreground color, you have to change the color to some very dark brown or dark green color to draw the spots. Okay, so you can note down the hexadecimal value. It is 31330C. Okay, select this color. Now the spots you can draw with brush tool. There's brush tool over here. Okay, and to increase or decrease the size of brush tool, I think you can press the flower bracket. I think that's the option in the keyboard. The flower brackets that you see are in the options bar. You can do the settings. Okay, now if you don't want to use the brush tool, you can use this lasso tool. Okay, so lasso tool is again of layout. Okay, under that you'll see many lasso tools, but you have to select freeform lasso tool. This one, freeform lasso tool. Okay, to select irregular shapes. Now on the canvas, you have to drag and draw with this lasso tool. Okay, and it has to be a very irregular spherical shape like this. Don't make an exact round or exact square and all. It will not look nice. Okay, so it's made a very irregular spherical selection here, right? Now you take paint bucket tool and fill the selection with this color. Okay, to deselect it, to deselect the selection, you know what you're supposed to do, right? You have to right click on inside this and select deselect. Okay, the shortcut key is you have to press Control and D. Okay, so you have to draw many irregular shapes like this on layer 2, but you just be very careful when you're drawing. Okay, don't draw in this corner and all, because when you fill it in your illustration, after you drape a design and then you fill this pattern inside your illustration. Okay, if you're drawing it in Illustrator or Corel Draw, if you have drawn spots near these corners and edges, it will look like somewhat like checks. Okay, because of the repetition of this square. Okay, so avoid the corners and fill up the rest of the canvas with these spots. Okay, now if you want, you can add one outline to this spots. Okay, but that's optional. If you want to add outline, then you have to go to layer menu in layer style. Open layer style. Okay, it will open the layer style dialog box. Okay, and you have to select stroke option. Okay, the moment you click on stroke, it will ask you to enter the size of the stroke. Okay, the size of the stroke can be 1 pixel, 1 px, and the color of the stroke you can keep it mustard color. Okay, so mustard is somewhere between dark green and this brown. Mustard yellow color you can select. Okay, so after you add the stroke, the next option is to merge down both the layers. The layer 1 is the background layer which has this brown color. Layer 2 is the one which has these spots, right? So to merge down both the layers, you have to go to layer menu, okay, and select merge down. Okay, now both the layers will be treated as one single layer. Okay, what is the last stage now? Just like how you added the hairy appearance in corduroy texture. Okay, so what you're supposed to do, you have to go to filter menu, select noise, and click on add noise. Okay, and you have to be very careful about the settings. You have to keep this monochromatic checked, and distribution you have to set it to uniform, and the amount of noise you add, it can be between 25 to 30%. Okay, you keep this preview check, then you can see how it is changing the appearance of your canvas. Okay, and now if you're satisfied with this appearance, you can click on OK. Otherwise, you can make more settings, proper settings. Okay. Now, after you added noise, you have to go to filter menu, and in blur, you have to select motion blur again to give it a raised, hairy appearance. Okay. Now, in the motion blur dialog, you have to keep the angle 30 degrees. Okay, so it will give it a somewhat, the hair will somewhat look angular instead of horizontal like this. Instead of the hair lying horizontal or vertical like this, it becomes slightly angular. Okay, 30 to 45 degrees you can give in bias direction, and then distance you can select 3 to 4 pixels. Okay, click on OK. Okay, now here you have the fur texture effect. Okay, clear. Now the next texture that I'm going to teach you is camouflage texture. Okay, camouflage means it's the material that is used in military costume. Okay, so it should have the colors of the jungle. So the way you do it, it is just like how you created the fur texture. Okay, but the spots that you draw will be in many colors. That means you will add one layer which will have bigger spots, and it may be in dark green. Okay, then you will add layer number 2. Okay, and in this you will draw the spots which is somewhat like leaf shape. Okay, and that can be in a bright lighter green. Okay, you what are the colors of the jungle? It is dark brown, the wood color, the color of the rock, the color of the muds, and the color of the leaf, right? So these are the colors, grass, the color of the grass. So these are the colors that you have to put in camouflage fabric. Okay, so create a new file, call it as camouflage. Size will be 300 pixels by 300 pixels. Resolution you can keep somewhere between 150 to 300 pixels per inch. Color mode will be CMYK, and background you can keep it either transparent or white and click on OK. Okay, now double click on this foreground option, and in the color picker dialog box you have to select some green color of the nature. Okay, I'm giving you the hexadecimal value. Okay, 738462. You can directly enter this value in the box that you see here in the field next to this hash symbol. That's the hexadecimal value. Okay, click on OK, take paint bucket and fill the canvas with this green color. Okay, now go to layer menu and add a new layer and label it as leaves and click on OK. Now again change the foreground color. Okay, and the color value, hex value, you can keep it 456028. Okay, it's slightly darker green color, like a bright dark green color. After that you have to select freeform lasso tool, and then you have to draw a shape which looks somewhat like a leaf. Take paint bucket, fill it inside this, and deselect the selection by pressing Ctrl and D. Okay, similarly you draw many leaf shapes, okay, big and small, all over this canvas, and avoiding these edges and corners. Fill it with this green color using paint bucket tool, and once you are filled, deselect using Ctrl D in the keyboard. Okay, now after you filled it with leaf shape, the canvas looks like this. So you can notice that I have filled some, and it's very irregular. I have not drawn a perfect leaf shape, right? It has to look patchy. Okay, after this, you have to add a new layer on top of this. So go to layer menu again, add a new layer and label this new layer as mud. Okay, and now you're going to add mud color in this. And then you have to take freeform lasso tool and draw patches of mud. Okay, somewhat roundish, squarish shapes needs to be drawn. And inside this, you have to fill this color, mud color. Okay, and keep deselecting using Ctrl D. So now I've drawn many patches of mud here on top of this. Okay, so I'm trying to fill up the empty spaces between this leaf shapes. Okay, now you add a third layer, go to layer menu, create a new layer and label that as wood. Okay, and click on OK. And you select a wood color in the foreground color, use lasso tool and draw some patches. Okay, and fill it with this dark brown color. Okay, like this. If you can see, I've added many colors on this. Okay, so there is beige color, somewhat like a biscuit color. Then there is light cyan. Okay, And then I've taken brush tool. Okay, finally I've taken this brush tool. I've taken parrot green color. Okay, brush size you can keep 2 or 3 pixels. You can adjust the size of the brush in the options bar easily. Okay, check for the options, and then you draw some grass-like shapes like this. Okay, now your canvas is ready. Okay, so once you're satisfied with how you have created the colorful patches on this, it should look like the military fabric, the corduroy fabric. Okay, once you're satisfied with it, you have to go to layer menu and you have to select flatten image. Okay, this will merge down all the layers. So how many layers are there in this? There is the background green color. Okay, there is the leaf, there is the mud, there is this orange shade, there is this wood shade, there is the cyan, and then finally there is this grass shape. Okay, so totally there are about 5 layers in this. Okay, so I have flattened all these 5 layers now. Okay, now all the layers will be treated as one single layer. Okay, now you have to go to filter menu. Okay, and in noise, you have to select add noise. Okay, in the add noise dialog box, you should not add too much noise. Okay, because the corduroy fabric just needs to, this looks very flat, right? It has the textile pattern of the corduroy fabric, but it does not have the textile texture of the corduroy fabric. Okay, you don't need to make it very hairy and all. It should look slightly like a fabric. So the noise that you add, don't keep it more than 14%. Okay, and distribution you have to keep it uniform, and you have to keep this monochromatic check. Click on OK. Okay, after this you have to go to filter menu, and in blur you have to select motion blur. Okay, in motion blur dialog, angle you can keep it 30 degrees, and distance don't keep it more, otherwise it will become too blur. Just keep it 2 pixels and click on OK. Okay, so your corduroy fabric texture is ready. The pattern and the texture for the corduroy fabric, it's ready now. Okay, you save it in PDF format, you have to save it in .tiff format, and you have to save it in .bmp format. Okay, is that clear? Okay, so I've taught you 4 textures now, 4 different textures. I'm going to share this video with you people. I know that you were not able to write down all the points. Okay, so I'm going to share this video once it is ready. So do you have any doubts?
Guys, any questions? What ma'am has explained? Yeah?
Ma'am, now we have learned how to make the patterns, but like how to...
yeah, when you actually try, it's quite simple and it's a lot of fun. Okay, you'll get addicted to Photoshop once you try doing all these things.
No, I wanted to ask how to like put it in an actual illustration. Like where we need...
Yeah, there exactly. That's what I'm going to show you now. Okay, so after you do all this...
Ma'am, can we do that in the next class?
Because it's already time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what I'll do is the satin texture and how to drape this pattern on the crookie. Okay, these 2 lessons, it will be taught in the next session. Okay, is that clear? Now you can start working on these Photoshop textures, and You can create a lot of such textures and save it in the folder, keep it ready. Okay, for this you'll need at least a week, at least minimum you'll need 3 days to do this. Okay, so we'll continue this class in the next session. Okay, and please, just before leaving the class, I want you all to type your names in this chat box.
I've taken the attendance, ma'am. Not an issue.
Okay. So ma'am has taken the attendance. Okay, now you can all practice on these textures. Okay, I'm going to share this video with you people. Okay, so can I leave now, Anu ma'am?
Yeah, we can leave.
I'll go to office now.
Guys, so is the textures part clear till now? Guys, please respond.
Yeah, ma'am. Ma'am, I wanted to ask, like, why is it necessary to like save in so many formats, like TIFF?
So yeah, basically when we do on Photoshop we usually save it in PSD file or TIFF file. These two files are the ones which can be edited anytime. You can always open your file, like, maybe you can rework on the colors, patterns, anytime. That is one format. PDF is just for like when you have to send it to some like client, or when you need to export it to another media where you need to show only the prints or only the fabric swatches. That's when you will need a PDF or a JPG format, JPG of a higher quality.
Okay.
And
also, see, I said, Anu ma'am, just a minute, okay? By mistake, I said that the default file format of Photoshop is PDF. It's not PDF, okay?
PSD.
The default file format of Photoshop is PSD. Okay, so PSD, if you save it in PSD format, you can edit it. Okay, and if you, as Anu ma'am said, if you save it in PDF format, then it's easy to send files across to people. And TIFF and BMP, because I don't know which format will be accepted in Illustrator and CorelDRAW. For loading it, you can load these textures in already existing patterns and textures in Illustrator and CorelDRAW. So I don't know which format will get accepted. Okay, but please be clear that .psd is the default native file format of Adobe Photoshop software. Okay, and if you save it in this format, you can, if you made any mistakes, you can easily change it. Okay,
all the layers are also retained. Like you will not lose any layer. You will retain all the layers, and you can always edit on any single layer if you need to. Whereas if you're saving it in JPG and PDF, that file can never be reworked on, unless you will be reworking on above it, but it cannot be edited as much as you can edit with PSD and TIFF. And one more advantage what TIFF has is, see, when you are saving your files, you should always name it with an appropriate name. After that, you will have icons on your folder. So PSD usually has a PSD icon. But TIFF will actually show, the icon will show the content of the file, which makes it easier, not just with the name, but also with the image, the icon image, what that file actually has. So each kind of, format has its own purpose. If you save it in a PNG file, the background is removed. Only the foreground image or content is being saved, and that can be imported to Illustrator, CorelDRAW, anywhere, even basic PowerPoint also you can save it. Clear?
Okay, PNG means it's a transparent background. It saves with a transparent background. Okay, so supposing you have created any logo, okay, and it is somewhat in red color, okay, and when you save it in any other format in Photoshop, so the logo is somewhat in red color, but all around it, there will be a square of white color. If you save it in JPG format, if you save it in PNG format, then the white background will not be there. Okay, so every format has its own advantages, but it is compulsory that you have to save it in .psd format, okay? Because that's the native file format of Photoshop, and that is editable. You can edit it. Okay, and all other options like PDF, it is for sending across files as submissions. .png and all if you want to use it in web designing, etc. And TIFF and BMP, I just said maybe that's more convenient if you want to load it as patterns in Corel Draw or Illustrator. Okay, any other doubts?
We'll wrap it up, ma'am. I think.
Okay, thanks, Anu.
Thank you, everybody.
Mom,
Yeah, Bhavya.
I actually had both of Photoshop and Illustrator, but recently I've given my laptop for servicing for to update the Windows 10. So in that case, like, while updating all the files are gone. I mean the Photoshop and then Adobe Illustrator. So can I do this on Procreate and
Yeah, you can try.
okay. The same
Try.
options, whatever is in the Photoshop, it's all in the Procreate also. So for
Okay,
the
then
assignment, I'll do it in the Procreate now.
fine.
Ma'am, which format should we send?
Smita, I guess ma'am left.
Yeah. That's why I called.
And guys, like, do you need that fabric, whatever class?
No, I don't know. I don't want.
What fabric?
Thing.
That only understanding the fabrics. I asked her, right?
So the call is in record.
Oh, understand. Yeah. Sorry, I didn't get it.
So, like, let me know what all, like, do we need like basic fabric understanding, or like uh, even those traditional prints, how to identify?
Should we learn from basic only? That will be better, I guess.
Yeah, I guess. Like now we don't even have like basic knowledge of any fabric. If someone shows us some print, it's hard for us to
Exactly.
identify what that is.
Yeah, correct. I think we should learn from basic only, then we'll move to some printed fabric and stuff.
So more than fabric, no, we need to learn the quality, no.
Yeah, that's what.
That's what.
Okay, if you guys want to learn anything more, like apart from whatever they're teaching, you can let me know. We can ask her or Elizabeth ma'am.
Yeah, okay, Bhuvna.